Hello everyone! Welcome to our second laboratory activity, which is the continents in the sand. Here are my group mates who were assigned on this laboratory activity, namely Kirstine Revesano, Grace Danlag, Stephen Calipes, and Cesar Pagan. In executing this laboratory activity, here are our objectives. Objective number 1 is to demonstrate the movements of the plates, and our second objective is to show the effects of movements along plate boundaries. In this laboratory activity, we will need our materials and equipments. 6 pieces of 11 inches by 17 inches cardboard paper. 6 cups of dry sand. If none, any replacement applicable for the sand. Lastly, a marker. All is set! We will now proceed on the demonstration of this laboratory activity. Danlag, the floor is yours.
Procedure. Number 1. Prepare 3 sets of cardboard, 2 pieces for each setup. Number 2. Do the following setups below. Number 3. Predict what will happen when they pull the papers towards the direction of the arrows. Once the prediction was recorded, move the papers about 1 inch at a time. Describe the movement of the sand and the changes that occurred. Setup 1. Number 1. For the first setup, take 1 cardboard and lay it on a flat surface. Number 2. Lay another piece of cardboard on top of the first in such a way that it overlaps about 50% of the cardboard. Number 3. Draw an arrow on either side pointing in opposite direction. Number 4. Place sand on the paper covering a rolly square area about 0.5 thick. Setup 2. Number 1. Position the 2 cardboard paper perpendicular to each other. Number 2. Draw arrows pointing at the opposite directions. Number 3. Cover an area where the 2 papers intersect with dry sand. Number 4. Spread the sand covering roughly a square area of about 0.5 thick. Setup 3. 1. Position the papers the same way as setup 2. Number 2. Draw arrows pointing toward each other. Number 3. Cover a square area with 0.5 dry sand.
Here are the data and results they fetch from the laboratory activity. Meanwhile, our synthesis for this laboratory activity, for the first synthesis, we have the setup 1, transform boundary, setup 2, divergent boundary, and setup 3, convergent boundary. Our second synthesis, though there is a big difference between the substance of the real earth and the sand that is used in the video, the motions of the sand are very comparable to the actual movement of plate borders. Our third synthesis, on setup 1, the transform boundary produced only the shaking of sands and the plates. Setup 2, which is the divergent boundary, produced a rift. Lastly, the setup number 3, which is the convergent boundary, produced mountains. Through that laboratory activity, we jumped into the conclusion that this laboratory activity shows and elaborates the different movements of the plates. It shows that the interactions along plate boundaries form different bodies of water and landforms. Thank you for being with us in the whole laboratory activity. See you soon in our next activity!